Our purpose is to provide a platform and a home base for Australians, Australian businesses, Australian expats, and people interested in business with Australia in the UAE. In 2023, bilateral trade reached $9.9 billion. Bilateral investment, just under $21 billion. The UAE and Australia have entered into a CEPA, a Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement.
Okay.
Essentially eliminating and lifting what may be seen as sort of restrictive tariffs and things like that are probably going to be, I mean, there are predictions that up to $1.7 billion enhanced trade in the next year, but I think it'll be even much more than that in the years to come.
Good day, my name is Alena Zaleskaya and welcome to EurAsia Gulf podcast series Networking Powerhouses. And today my guest is the board member of Australian Business Council, Omid Honari. Omid, such a pleasure to see you today. Thank you so much for joining.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
And to begin with, of course, our audience would like to know, who is Omid Honari?
A very difficult question, probably because there is no compelling answer. So I am the general manager for EMEA, Eurasia, Middle East, Pakistan, and Africa, of the world's premier international education organization by the name of Navitas. I've been based here in Dubai for a decade and a half now. So our organization is a diversified international education group that was founded in Perth, Western Australia, 30 years ago.
Oh, wow.
We're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year, very, very proudly so, servicing students and affording international students particularly the opportunity to study anywhere in the world and to gain knowledge and experience and enhance their communities and their families and enrich their nations. So additionally, I've, for the past 2 years in my what is my first term, been very honored to have been elected to the board of the Australian Business Council here in Dubai.
Amazing, because that's the major topic what we want to discuss today. Even though before, I would like to thank you for always continuous support at EurAsia Gulf events, and we're happy to bring new collaborations in the new year. But coming back to the history of the Australian Business Council, how it's been formatted, how it's been changed within these years of the establishment. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, interesting. Two things. First of all, thank you for the engagement with EurAsia. I've just in the past, couple of weeks alone been at, several of your events, networking events. They're always very engaging, great mix of people between business people, private sector, public sector, diplomats, government representatives. In my field of professional endeavor, the basis for all progress that we make from an outward-facing perspective is based on meaningful networking opportunities. So it's been really, really enjoyable for me. Great events. So,
Thank you.
Hats off to you and the team and your board. So with the Australian Business Council, very interestingly, so as an Australian being based in the UAE for the past decade and a half, working for an Australian company, quite early on, we decided to, now this is giving my history a little bit of engagement, join the Australian Business Council in Dubai as members, as corporate members. And what that did is give the Australians and non-Australians on my staff the opportunity to engage in an Australian business organization. We did it out of interest to begin with.
Okay.
Are you going to hold a networking event that might be of interest to us? Are you going to introduce us to other Aussies? Are you going to introduce us to non-Australians with an interest in all things Australian? So we were exploring, and when we took out the corporate membership, we got of course more and more engaged in various events and networking opportunities and promotional opportunities, and found it really interesting. So a couple of years ago almost exactly 2 years ago when the elections for the new board happened, I thought, and I spoke to my colleagues and I said, guys, we're, so engaged. Should we stand for election? And the last 2 years on the board has been, incredible and rewarding and rewarding for me. I should only hope humbly that I've been able to give back to the community in some small way. But the council itself, and I think it requires, from my perspective, a little bit of explanation. The Australian Business Council in Dubai is not just the largest, but the oldest established Aussie business group in the region.
Okay, that's fascinating. How many years?
30 years also. It seems to be a magic number, yeah. 30 years of establishment, which, is quite incredible. 30 years of continuous service to the community. So we celebrate this fact. It's reflected in our, logo this year and so forth. Australians in the GCC region, in the UAE and in Dubai, it's been a very interesting engagement. Now, I've been around for half of that 15 years and seen it up close and personal. But why is it interesting? There is seldom an element of government, the private sector, an industry that when you are in Dubai, you don't find an Australian. There is something about the cultural adaptiveness of Australians who are living here as expats that just seems to work. The contribution seems to be great. My field of expertise, the recognition of the quality of the educational backgrounds of Aussies relocating to the UAE is a highly respected set of credentials. We see even in the primary tertiary sector, Australian schools are very well respected. Australian companies are synonymous with quality. Australians are seen in a very positive light as being very warm and friendly, just the way that Aussies see the Emirates and the Emiratis as being very welcoming and good people to engage with. So there's a natural synergy that you can see, as I say, in every element, private sector, public sector, every industry. In the UAE is Australia's largest regional trade partner, which is unbelievable. You have two countries with beautiful, ancient, rich histories and yet modern histories of hinged on, innovation and progress. So although there's a world of difference between the two, and that's the beauty of it, there's also a lot of sort of sociocultural and economic overlaps in the outlooks of the two nations. So there's something that works from a people-to-people perspective, business-to-business perspective, government-to-government perspective, and it's a wonderful synergy. So the Aussies in Dubai, the Aussies in the UAE are a vibrant community, an active community, and an increasingly growing and well-respected community, increasingly so. So the Business Council is really here in many ways to service that community. Now, multi-layered. Throughout every year, we have a very full, dynamic, vibrant, and varied group of events and activities. These range from social activities. You could show up to a family day and see, Australian expats of varying level of someone who's just moved, someone who's been here for a generation, people socializing, enjoying sort of a traditional Australian barbecue, food and drink, etc. To the other end of the spectrum, very heavily focused business events. The business events we lead on, for example, the inter-council event, annual events that bring together various business councils from various countries, very heavily oversubscribed, packed forms of engagement. Look, Dubai and the UAE is a place where business happens, business is encouraged, and people are here to engage. So an event like that bringing together young and well-established business council is absolutely fantastic. For me, the newer councils and engagement with the newer councils is really very exciting. If I could name some of our friends, last year at the Intercouncil event, I met representatives from the Serbian Business Council who were just integrated at the time. And we were 29 years old at the time, and so exciting to see this new, young, dynamic business council form and talk to us. And we were sharing best practice together and outlooks and visions. Very exciting stuff. We have similar, whether we see it or not at the outset, the business councils have similar positive, forward-thinking modes of engagement and philosophies at the end of the day. Just a couple of weeks ago, I met the chair and vice chair, a couple of representatives from the Vietnamese Business Council who were just saying, we've just formed, we've just established, can we talk to the Australian Business Council and share best practices? I said it would be absolutely our pleasure. Again, we're here to do the same things, promote communities and business. So I'll just go back to the original central point of your question. We have a strong membership of around 500. Now that includes individuals, large corporations, etc. We have a social media reach of an engagement of about 20,000 people, which is incredible. Our purpose is to provide a platform and a home base for Australians, Australian businesses, Australian expats, and people interested in business with Australia in the UAE. The community and the engagement is dynamic. It's outstanding. I say it's very forward thinking, being with the Australian Business Council, it's been wonderful to see this, especially over the past 2 years, especially in the sort of the post-COVID era as it was. Things only going from strength to strength.
Just marvelous, Omid. Nothing to add to that. And of course, congratulations on the 30 years anniversary. And goes without saying that, of course, the young, newly formatted business councils will look up to you and seek for advice and trying to take that best practices of what you do over these 30 years to also that help them to boost their newly formatted business councils. And of course, yes, I had the privilege previously to join some of the intercouncils events, and it's outstanding and fascinating how you can gather this amount of people and gather all the business councils over the UAE and that are presented here and make them engage in such a lively, vibrant way. That's fantastic. I love that events, but if you can also highlight in the past, maybe then 2 years of almost 2 years that you are there, that what are that achievements and activities that you're specifically proud of?
Yeah, so I really, speaking personally, enjoy celebrating Australian things in the Emirates. So this year we had a fantastic, very engaging, very successful, very well attended event, which was Derby Day, a race that means a lot to Australians.
Oh, wow.
Horse
Tell
race.
me more.
Well, it doesn't mean a lot to non-Australians, but every non-Australian I know who was at the event just absolutely loved it. It's a cultural staple, a chance to dress up and celebrate and watch this incredible sport. So isn't it wonderful to import what's essentially a bit of Australiana into the heart of Dubai? Not just give Aussies something to be celebratory and nostalgic about, but non-Australians to sort of learn that little bit. Other than that, we had very early in the morning recently the AFL Grand Final, and what a buzz to walk into an arena and see the Australian Football League Grand Final happening, the passion of people supporting their teams. Again,
early in the morning, you said.
Early in the morning, because we obviously have to adjust to the time zone of half a planet away, which is fun and fine. You can do that once in a while. So for me, I love the events where we import, nostalgically, yes, but also in the ethos of cultural exchange, Australian things into the Emirates. And I love meeting non-Australians at these things. Could be someone who's engaged with business with Australia, business with an Australian business, has an Australian friend, has an Australian partner. I mean, it's great. And, so that's great. But other than that, we also provide a platform to a voice for not just our sponsors, of which we have, incredible ones, Emirates Airlines, HSBC, and many others like them. Not just our members, but something that serves to serve the community. So recently we had a taxation advisory webinar, which was very well attended. People are interested in what this means for them. Expats are interested in things like mortgages back home and property back home. We host meetings and webinars and forums. So it's not just the fun and the Australiana. It's not just an opportunity for the businesses to interact, but it's also a service to the community. So I think striking that balance, of which I have to praise my colleagues, I think the board has been very proactive and very successful in doing over the past couple of years, and for years before that as well, has been really satisfying to be part of, has been really satisfying to watch. If I could just talk for a moment more about business.
Absolutely.
So in our company, in Navitas, my company, the company that I'm with, we have serviced, thousands of students who originate from the Emirates, either Emiratis or expats living here, who study in Australia, either the Emiratis who are sponsored by their home government, or expats who, finance their own studies, etc. It's so wonderful to have seen this emerge and evolve over the past years with increasing interest. Again, because it's my industry, I take specific pride in it, but the recognition of Australian education as being amongst the best in the world, excellent quality, provided alongside great lifestyle, great opportunities, like seeing that reputations don't build inorganically. There's a reason the reputations build. We can walk into a government department in Abu Dhabi, for instance, who sponsors students to study in Australia, and they will speak highly of Australian education. Now, that's a source of pride. And I'm sure my other colleagues on the board who are from different fields, from hospitality, travel, tourism, they'll say similar things, which is so wonderful to hear as an Australian.
And beautifully, that it's not just in the UAE, the Australian education specifically well known all over the world for years and years. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so to have that is a real positive. Now, I did mention that the UAE is Australia's largest trade partner, cutting across industries. In 2023, bilateral trade reached $9.9 billion. Bilateral investment, just under $21 billion. What's been another cause to celebrate is this year, the UAE Ministry of State and I'll backtrack. What's another cause to celebrate is that the UAE and Australia have entered into a CEPA, a Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement.
Okay.
Essentially eliminating and lifting what may be seen as sort of restrictive tariffs and things like that, 99% of which are now eliminated. By the time of implementation in Q2 2025 will be eliminated. So not just is there a great culture of Aussie business in the UAE and UAE business with Australia, a great community and a very dynamic business council that services that community. But there's now a widespread government-to-government platform that allows Australian and UAE businesses to partner together to take whatever field of enterprise they wish to new heights that are probably going to be. I mean, there are predictions that up to $1.7 billion enhanced trade in the next year, but I think it'll be even much more than that in the years to come. So the CEPA, the Comprehensive Economic Trade Agreement, which I know both governments have worked very diligently on signing, is signed, which just elevates the friendship and the relationship between our two nations to God willing, inshallah, soaring heights.
Yes, that's great news. Absolutely. And so, of course, you mentioned a few big names in terms of Australian businesses. But if we talk about startups and small businesses, what do you see that Australian Business Council do to support them and help them to grow?
Well, we have a very positive ongoing relationship with Dubai economy and tourism. We exist under the leadership and auspices of the Dubai Chamber. We have links not just to Australian diplomatic circles here, but other elements of government and business here. So we're here to help. We're as a business council under the Dubai Chamber, we're non-profit, so we're not here to compete. We're here to facilitate. So a new entrant to the market, call upon us. Jump on our website. Come to one of our events. Talk to our board members. We'll always point you in the right direction. I mean, something about Australians, for those who there's not many, but for those who haven't dealt with Australians, whether business or personal, is people are very approachable, friendly, and here to help. You win, everyone wins type of attitude. So yes, startups, new market entrants, people coming to the region for the first time, people coming to the GCC for the first time, to the UAE, to Dubai for the first time. We're here to help. And we have had many people reach out to us and say, hey, we're bringing through a delegation, we're looking to set up, we're looking to, we're always here to help each other and to promote that genuine sense of community that must underline successful business endeavor.
Thank you so much. Fantastic achievements, fantastic conversation with you. And I wish to go for much longer. But considering that's the end of the conversation and the end of 2024, from behalf of the Australian Business Council and from you personally, Omid Honari, what would you like to wish for small and big businesses, for individuals in the upcoming year?
Yeah, great. So I love seeing businesses flourish here in Dubai. It's been a place I've called home for a long time, and there's again a real sense of community. The more the businesses flourish, do well in multiple sectors, the better it is for all of us. I love seeing new Aussie brands enter the market. I think that's terrific. It's really nice to see, of which there's an increasing number. I love meeting with and visiting with Australians who have just relocated and are experiencing the city and the community and work life here for the first time. So again, as I say, reach out to us at the Australian Business Council. Would be always happy to have a conversation with anyone. We're here to support you. I would also like to see in 2025 a lot of interaction with other groups, platforms, and business councils, because, as I say, at the end of the day, we have many shared objectives. So here's to a great 2025 for all.
Thank you so much, Omid. Beautifully said, and wish you as well a happy, healthy, and wonderful next year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you, and to you.